In the desert sands of today, the bones of an ancient river hunter lie waiting to tell their story.
Huge vertebrae and towering spine bones reveal a dinosaur unlike any other, crowned with a sail like a living ship. Its teeth are smooth and conical, better for gripping slippery prey than tearing flesh on land. Once, this desert was a sprawling river system, a drowned world where this hunter ruled the water.
Join Prime Wildlife as we step back in time. To 70 million years ago, the sunrise fell not on empty sand, but on a kingdom of water.
Great rivers braided across this land, thick with fish, crocodile-like reptiles, and dinosaurs built for a semi-aquatic life. On the banks, forests provided cover for prey and predator alike, roots drinking from waters that rose and fell with the seasons.
At the heart of this world runs a deep main channel, a liquid highway teeming with life and danger.
Here, a hunter swims that is more at home in waters than on dry land.
Beneath the surface, light fades and the current presses hard, carrying schools of heavy, powerful fish. A shadow moves among them, long-bodied and low, driven by a tail shaped like a living paddle.
This is Serak, an adult Spinosaurus, with a crocodile-like snout and a sail that rises like a banner above the water.
Nostrils set high on the skull allow him to breathe at the surface, while most of his massive body stays hidden beneath. His legs are not built for sprinting on land, but his tail drives him forward like the rudder of a living submarine. To creatures on the shore, the first sign of his presence is the sail, a moving wall of color slicing through the river.
The sail may signal his position, but it also makes him look larger than life, a display that can intimidate as much as it reveals.
When he climbs from the water, his weight presses deep tracks into the sand, each stride carrying the presence of a river giant.
He moves mostly on all fours, long body balanced by strong arms, and a tail that never fully leaves the river's memory.
Scars along his arms tell of past struggles in murky channels, battles with prey strong enough to fight back.
Long before he reached this size, Serak learned the language of currents and sandbars from older hunters. Here on the floodplain, the river's moods shape life, leaving behind pools of trapped fish and pockets of opportunity. In quiet backwaters, the world narrows to shadow and reflection, a perfect arena for an ambush.
Serak waits almost perfectly still, his sail blending with tree trunks, his snout tracing the faint vibrations of fish below.
Sensors in his snout pick up pressure changes, telling him where the living current of flesh flows. When he strikes, it is sudden and sideways, teeth gripping rather than slicing, designed to hold onto slippery muscle.
He raises the catch into the air, letting gravity and his own head movements help him swallow the river's silver reward.
With each meal, he converts waterborne life into the strength needed to move this massive, sail-backed frame.
Other hunters keep their distance. On land they may be faster, but in the water, his size and tail give him the throne.
Serak knows his strength lies not in chasing over dry ground, but in controlling the border between river and shore. Hour by hour, the shape of his hunting ground changes, and he must read it like a map that never stays the same. He hugs the edges where the deep meets the shallow, where heavy fish are forced into narrow passages. In these depths swim giants of their own kind, armored with bone and speed, strong enough to challenge even him. To hunt them, he becomes part of the river itself, matching their pace before committing to the strike. But even a hunter this large.
He breaks the surface with empty jaws, but he loses nothing but breath. There will be other chances.
When the main channel offers no feast, he wanders in the flooded forest, searching for stranded fish and unwary prey. From above, His sail is both banner and camouflage, a pattern that breaks his outline among trunks and shadows. Scars at the base of the sail hint at confrontations with rivals and crocodile-like beasts that lurk deeper in the channels. At day's end, he tests the edges of the sea, where new kinds of prey drift between salt and fresh. He is not alone here. Flyers and crocodiles share the fish.
Along some banks, competition lies not in the water, but on the sand itself.
Both giants know the cost of a wrong move. One is armored and low, the other tall-sailed and agile in deeper water.
By turning his sail broadside, Serak makes himself look even larger, a living flag that warns. This fishing spot is taken.
Sometimes the sail earns a victory without a bite. Display can win a battle before it truly begins.
Now the river's edge is his alone, a prime position for an animal that hunts with both legs and tail. Each sunrise brings new chances and new risks.
Along the forest edge, other dinosaurs gather to drink, unaware that a sail-backed hunter listens downstream. He lets the current carry him, using the river itself as camouflage, sail cutting almost noiselessly through the water. To the eyes on shore, he is just a ripple and a dark line, easy to miss amid shifting light. When he chooses his moment, the water itself seems to leap with him.
His attacks blur the line between land and river, turning the shoreline into an ambush zone. This time, his gamble on land-based prey brings no meal, but his strength allows him to absorb many failed attempts.
He returns to the channel, shaking off failure along with mud, letting the river cool his skin.
Above, weather shifts. Storms can swell the river overnight, transforming his world from calm to violent.
Below the storm, the current strengthens, and he must work to hold position in the boiling flow.
Forests flood, banks vanish, and everything that cannot swim must cling to whatever ground remains.
For Serak, these floods bring both danger and opportunity, sweeping stunned fish and carcasses into new channels. He rides the river like a living vessel, guided more by instinct than plan, carried toward places he has never hunted before.
When calm returns, the world is subtly new, and he must learn its shapes again from the beginning. His footprints write his claim along the river's edge, a record that will last only until the next flood.
As the light fades, his sail becomes a dusk-shadowed fin, a ghostly sign of power gliding through silver reflections.
Behind him, a younger sail-backed hunter follows, watching and learning with every silent step. Together they read the language of ripples and scent, each pool a page filled with clues about what passed here last. In deeper channels, the young one struggles to match Serak's power, but learns the rhythm of the tail-driven stroke. Twin sails drift side by side, river-borne shadows that one day may compete for the same precious fishing grounds.
Practice comes with clumsy splashes and missed strikes. Lessons learned in the language of failure.
Serak does not interfere. The river will teach, and only those who adapt will live long enough to inherit these channels.
For now, they share the fading light in uneasy peace. A brief pause.
Standing alone on the sand, his sail becomes a living banner, catching not only wind, but also the heat of the sun.
Some scientists think this sail helped regulate temperature, absorbing warmth in the morning and shedding it at day's end.
By twilight, the sail no longer glows with heat, its role shifting from radiator to billboard in the half-dark.
The sail also speaks to rivals, broadcasting size and strength across the water when bodies are too far apart to clash.
Patterns and posture may decide who yields and who stays, sparing both the injuries of direct combat.
Today, the silent negotiation ends without a fight. Serak holds his ground with color and confidence alone.
He returns to the quieter edges, where forest and river blend, scanning for smaller prey and stranded fish. But some days demand risk, driving him into deeper, darker water, where the biggest prizes hide. The river remembers him, and so does the giant fish that escaped his jaws once before. Now both predators know the other's strength, circling in a dance where a single mistake could be fatal. Serak uses the river like a cloak, letting the current hide his approach from the prey's senses. This time he turns the river's pull to his favor, closing the door before his quarry can flee. His jaws clamp down, teeth gripping through scales and muscle, holding fast despite the violent struggle. He lets the river help him, twisting and rolling until the fish's power is spent in its own desperate thrashing.
He erupts from the depths victorious, rising from the water like a living storm with his prize.
On solid ground, he finally secures the kill, trading water resistance for the firm support of sand. His teeth do not rip but grasp, guiding slippery flesh down a throat built to handle heavy, writhing prey.
Around him, the river's smaller opportunists wait. His feast will feed far more lives than his own.
He returns to his element, leaving behind a gift of meat for creatures that trail in his shadow.
With his stomach full, his movements soften, and he lets the cooling water carry his bulk in gentle silence. All along the river, life slows with the fading light, each species seeking its own refuge from night hunters. For Serak, rest is never far from water. Even sleep keeps him wrapped in the river's embrace. At night, the river becomes a tunnel of shadows, his sail a dim wall in a corridor of living flickers. Days pass, tides shift, and this waterbound kingdom keeps flowing, erasing and rewriting stories in sand. Only through fossils and careful maps can we reconstruct the world Serak once ruled. Tall neural spines tell us his back rose into a sail, but even now, scientists debate its exact shape and purpose. Models test ideas. Was the sail narrow, broad, rounded, or tall and rectangular as we show it today? New fossils have revealed a tail better suited for swimming, pushing us to see Spinosaurus as a semi-aquatic specialist. Old paintings showed it striding over dry ground like a taller cousin of other theropods. Newer art returns it to the water.
Each new bone, each new site adds detail to the portrait, confirming that this was truly a creature of rivers and deltas.
With that knowledge, we can look back with clearer eyes and watch him move where he belongs, in flowing water.
We see him now as a river dragon, not of myth, but of bone and evidence, shaped by currents rather than imagination alone.
His sail may have signaled mates, rivals, or both, a towering canvas for color and pattern above the river's mirror. Most of his life is not drama, but steady patrols, testing currents and learning every hidden bend and drop. His snout reads scent and taste like a story, telling him who passed, when, and whether they are worth pursuing.
He can become a floating log, patient and invisible, waiting for the river to bring the meal to him.
Sand remembers everyone for a little while, overlapping histories written and erased each day. Through it all, he is just one player in a vast wetland symphony, a specialist among many specialists. Today, careful hands lift the pieces of his story from stone, each vertebra and tooth bridging millions of years. Under lamplight, scientists compare notes, turning fragments of skeleton into living reconstructions, like the Serak we've followed.
Our version is one such reconstruction, shaped by the best evidence we have, and always ready to change if the fossils demand it.
In your mind's eye, you can now place him where he belonged, a sail-backed hunter moving between fresh and salt. If you imagine swimming beneath him, you see a moving ceiling of muscle and color, casting shifting shadows over the river floor. From the bank, you might see only a fin and a narrow snout, never knowing how much power lurks below.
Only rarely does he reveal his full form at once, reminding us that this is no ordinary land predator trying to swim. But in these moments, he is less a monster, and more a moving landscape, shaping how smaller creatures live around him.
The sail is always the first and last part of him the light touches, a vertical bridge between sky and river. Here, he reads both fresh and salt, testing whether this is a day for venturing farther out or staying closer to home.
In a living river like this, Spinosaurus is not alone, but one note in a powerful chord of ancient life.
The remains of that life now travel in foam and wood, heading for labs and museums where more secrets will be uncovered.
Every sketch, every model is a conversation between stone and imagination, grounded in measurements but lifted by curiosity.
Scientists ask, how did he float? How fast could he turn? How deeply did he dive? Questions fuel the picture we share with you.
Each answer we find paints him more clearly in this setting, a hunter whose fate was bound to rising and falling water.
From far above, he is just one moving shadow among many, yet his story stands out across millions of years.
Today we can only imagine him in motion, but each fossil gives us confidence that this river giant really lived. His tracks vanish in minutes, yet his bones have endured for eons, preserved so that we can see them now.
Rebuilt from the ground up, his skeleton towers over us, reminding us how small we are beside the giants of prehistory.
Panels and placards speak of fish and river life, correcting the old image of a dryland stalker.
But for prime wildlife, the skeleton is only the starting point. We breathe flesh and water back onto these bones.
Now you can picture his full form, a long, low swimmer with a sail that rides above the waves like a banner of the river.
Some mornings, the river is calm, and his presence is suggested only by ripples and the memory of tracks.
When his shadow falls, the smaller scavengers scatter, yielding the shoreline to the master of this hunting ground. His life, more than most dinosaurs, is a conversation between sky and water, between air-filled lungs and the weight of the river.
As our field season ends, we carry his story back with us, ready to share it with the world beyond this desert.
But in your imagination, he continues to swim, sail cutting paths through currents that never truly stop.
Remember him like this. Not as a land-bound dragon, but as a river titan, hunting with a living sail.
When you think of Spinosaurus now, picture water, tail strokes, and the long shadow of a sail drifting downstream.
His bones may rest behind glass, but the story they tell can still move, breathe, and swim in our minds. This is the tale we call Hunting with a Sail, brought to life for you by Prime Wildlife. If this journey through ancient rivers has touched your imagination, there are many more worlds to explore with us.
On Prime Wildlife, every episode opens another window into prehistoric life, predators, giants, and forgotten seas.
You are watching Prime Wildlife, where we turn fossil evidence into living stories, one creature at a time.
If you enjoyed meeting this sail-backed hunter, like the video, share it with a friend, and let us know your favorite moment in the comments. Subscribe to Prime Wildlife so you don't miss our next deep dive into dinosaurs and the worlds they ruled.
From one river system in ancient Africa to many corners of the prehistoric globe, there are endless stories still hidden in stone.
Together, we can light those stories, piece by piece, sail by sail, bone by bone.
Stay with us here on Prime Wildlife, where every click takes you deeper into Earth's wild, ancient past. And each time you remember him, The waters of that lost river move again, just for a moment.
This was Hunting with a Sail Pool, Spinosaurus. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next journey.